Well, well, well.
Okay.
What a pleasant surprise.
Relapse is a lifetime.
I thought we were going to skip this one.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed just kind of generic, I guess. I don't know.
But then I saw, okay, Joseph Kosinski, big fan, like his work. But this one delivered in every possible way.
I think so. Now, I will say this, though. People are comparing it to Top Gun Maverick. Rightfully so. I understand the comparisons.
I get it.
I don't think it's quite as good as that or as crowd-pleasing as that.
I understand the comparison,
Yeah.
but I also find it a little not apples to apples in that Maverick was like a legacy sequel.
Oh, sure.
And this is like a fresh story. So I don't know if I necessarily like Maverick more than this film.
I do.
Oh, Jesus. We had our debate about which is better, the original Top Gun or the sequel. We obviously came down on different sides of this. So they're kind of neck and neck for me.
Okay.
Okay.
We walked out of the theater like, fuck, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that. Doesn't mean we didn't have our little nitpicks, but they're actually very few.
They're legit nitpicks, though.
Yeah, so this is probably going to end up being a fairly short review.
Well, we always say that.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll try for this one.
Not a chance.
well, we always say that to each other before we roll.
Yeah,
Oh, this is going to be a short one.
Maybe it
and
will
then
be.
they never fucking
Maybe it
are.
will be. But, you know, this is not like breaking any mold in terms of the story. It's all about telling a good story, a tried and true story, really well, executed well.
That's what Joseph Kosinski is good at.
Yes, he's very good at that.
He's good at just taking like a simple story or a story that people will relate to and tells it really well.
Yeah.
And when I say relate to, he just tells a normal fucking story
Yes.
with normal people.
Yes.
And he's attracting a normal audience.
Right. And where this does have similarities to Maverick is that you get the older guy coming back, and now he's got to work with the younger kids, and he doesn't just come in there and get treated like a dinosaur.
Right.
Even though, you know, he has been out of the racing game in the F1 series for quite a while, he comes in and it's like, no, he's got some shit to teach the young kids.
Well, he doesn't come in and like the younger people with the modern sensibilities
Yes.
are the morally superior ones than he is, and they've got to show this dinosaur how things are really done
Yeah.
for modern times.
Yeah. They don't do
No.
any of that shit.
Absolutely not. This guy has some shit, like you said, that he's going to teach this young kid.
Yeah, they learn to work together as a team,
Yes.
even though it takes quite a while to get to that. I'd say my biggest nitpick is the film is a little long.
Yeah,
I mean, the runtime was a little long. Like
towards the end, you're like, okay, we got to get into the third act here.
yeah, it started really prolonging some of the like, oh, the young guy got hurt, and then he's back on his feet, and then Brad Pitt gets hurt, and then he gets back. You know, like it kind of stretched that shit out a little bit
Yeah.
where it could have been tighter, but. I wasn't bored. I didn't mind any of it. I enjoyed all of it. It just started feeling towards the end like, okay, we could speed this up.
My biggest
little bit.
nitpick was the young guy. He's okay.
I
feel
liked him. I thought he was good.
He's okay. Like
Damson Idris.
I feel like, and I might be in the minority in this one. You know, I might be. I don't know, but I just feel like his personality was a little bit bland, and sort of his rivalry between Brad Pitt could have been better and more fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that they didn't just turn him into an antagonist. Like,
No, I like that too. I think that aspect is fine, where they kind of never turned him into the bad guy. That's okay. Brad Pitt's character to me was like fully fleshed out. You really like the guy. You see where he's coming from. It's got that American underdog thing with him, you know, where it's like the guy had his shot in the past, but kind of blew it. It didn't work out for him, and now this is like his redemption arc. That was cool. You know,
blew it in the sense that he got himself completely fucked up in an accident.
Well, yes, but after he got fucked up in the accident,
Yeah, he didn't come back, yeah.
He sort of, instead of bouncing back, he kind of went down a destructive path in his life.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, that's kind of like the plot of the film, where, you know, he left F1 a while ago and he's just kind of like this gun for hire, bouncing around, doing different races, whether it's Daytona or something way smaller.
Whatever it is, if there's a
whatever
car,
it is,
he's in it,
He's
you
in
know?
it,
Yeah.
and he's getting paid whatever the paycheck is, and he's always trying to chase that like feeling he had when he was like younger and racing F1.
Yes.
So Javier Bardem, who raced with him when he was
They
younger,
used to be on the same race team.
yeah, he shows up and he's like, listen, I own a team now. It's like a newer team in Formula One, and we suck. We're in last place. We have no points on the board, and if we don't get points, they're going to sell us off. So he convinces him to come back, and that's where you get like Brad Pitt style and the young guy style, and they start butting heads, and they have to get on the board, and Brad Pitt starts getting creative with how they start advancing. He
Yes,
starts kind of
exactly.
breaking rules a little bit, but
Yeah.
using loopholes and
Yes.
getting penalties thrown their way, like that they're paying off monetary penalties, but they're inching forward a little bit. They're getting some points on the board.
Yeah.
That's kind of like your generic, tried and true story, and it works.
And in addition to that, obviously the racing sequence is probably the best races ever put to film. You know,
They're up there.
Yeah, they're really well done. And if there's like CGI trickery, I really couldn't
It's
tell.
really hard to see.
It's extremely well
The only
done.
time you can tell when there's CGI going on is like a few moments where they're standing there and there's like fireworks going off behind them, and you could tell that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
little composited in.
But I mean, like, the actual racing,
scenes
yeah.
are solid.
And like all the mounts that they created for.
Oh yeah, cool camera rigs
Yeah.
for like 180 whip pans
Yeah,
and
they got
stuff.
this
and, like,
180 piece of gear that just.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like with Kosinski's style, like I really like. He's got this clean aesthetic that works really well for this type of film.
Absolutely, yeah.
I like almost all of his films.
You like Tron a lot. To me, that I don't really like that
Tron
movie.
Legacy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the best looking films I've ever seen.
I don't like
You can
that
say
movie.
what you want about
yeah,
the
but
story.
it's a nice looking movie.
It's
for
a
sure.
fantastic looking film.
It is, yeah. So he's got a great eye. Like it's like you look at Top Gun 1 and you look at Top Gun 2. I actually like the aesthetic of Top Gun 1 better than 2.
Yes.
And that's because Tony Scott was like a fucking music video director, you know,
Yeah.
and he's got like he had that eye, you know, and
like Kosinski's style worked really well for Oblivion.
he did, yeah, exactly.
Like that bleak kind of like
It
he's
did.
got this kind of washed out look at times.
Yes.
But also a very clean look.
Yeah, and what I'm getting to is just that it's not necessarily my cup of tea. It's not my favorite filmmaking aesthetic, but he has a good eye.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
Yeah. It's complemented very well by Hans Zimmer's score in this film, which surprised me. I know he's like the go-to guy. He's like the king of soundtracks now, but like he scores things now sometimes where I'm like, okay, like he did Maverick.
One of the composers of Maverick.
Well,
but
yeah,
yes.
right. One of the composers of Maverick, but still, like the score of that film doesn't really stand out to me the way the score of this film did.
I would disagree with that.
Okay, that's
but like
fine.
there are some actually really good moments in the Maverick score.
Yeah. Well, I'd say most of them come later in the film.
They do. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. But this
I'm into those.
This film, actually, Formula One, the score was okay, but the theme is good. Like the theme is really good.
The theme's fantastic. And when that shit kicks in, you're just like, okay, we
Yeah,
know
the
what we're
opening
in
title,
store for.
it's good.
And then that theme is remixed throughout the film
Absolutely, yeah.
in subtler ways.
Yeah.
But that opening sequence, like I want to go see the movie again just to see that opening
Well,
sequence.
What's also cool about this, about Hans Zimmer doing the score, this is like, to my knowledge, his third racing film.
Yeah, because he did Days of Thunder.
and he did Rush, and now he did this, and like each one of them is distinctly different.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see him like flexing and like, oh, I can do another one, and like
Another race movie? No problem.
Yeah, Days of Thunder is still his best one. That fucking score is dope.
The score is dope. The film itself,
That fucking movie's awesome. What are you
yeah,
talking about,
okay,
man?
sure. Cold Trickle, yeah.
Didn't you hear what that man said?
The rumor that we heard that
This I'm sorry, I'm saying this unironically. This is the best fucking idea that I've heard in the longest time, which is to merge
Days of Thunder
yes
with F1
yes.
into a joint sequel and have Cole Trickle, Tom Cruise's character, come in with Brad Pitt, Sonny Hayes, and have, I don't care what they do together.
Dude.
I will watch that movie.
If they're on a team, if they're rivals,
Doesn't
don't give
matter.
a shit. Want to
Doesn't
fucking see
matter.
that.
I don't know how you're bringing like Cole Trickle in. I don't know how you're bringing bringing in Brad Pitt's character, whether it's going to be still in F1 or if you're going over to on the NASCAR side, whatever you're doing, I'm there for it.
I don't
100%.
know if Joseph Kosinski is just saying that in jest, but dude, when he said that, that is like a fantastic idea.
That is the greatest thing that I've ever heard.
Guaranteed hit.
Also would be cool because then Hans Zimmer could take his themes from Days of Thunder
Oh my God,
and
yeah,
merge
merge
them
them.
with the Formula One theme to like make the ultimate movie score of all time. Like, that just sounds so fucking great.
Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Getting back on topic.
Sorry.
Yeah, we've got the young guy and the old guy kind of button heads throughout the entire film. They got to learn to work together, and of course, in the end, they come together and they help each other out, and they walk away with a podium win. Everybody's happy, and then Brad Pitt moves back on and goes back to just being a gun for hire, even though he finally captured that high he was looking for. You kind of know how it's going to end. You're kind of expecting that, but that's not the point. The point is, it's just a super fun blockbuster summer movie, and it delivers.
I'll tell you, and you know, this is why it delivered though. This is why, all right? They actually made a movie for men to enjoy.
Yeah.
And
Surprising.
when you do that, it's that whole like, you know, if you try to please everyone, you please nobody.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
This movie just knows its audience and it's going for that audience. But when you do that, it also makes women want to go see it. It makes everyone want to go see
Right.
it. And that's fine. Like, this movie's made for normal fucking people.
Right, yeah.
It's not made for that like modern audience that Hollywood believes exists.
Right, because
that
if it
really
was,
doesn't exist.
if it was, then the woman who was running the car design for the team, right?
Yeah.
Like they could have made her just like super know-it-all. Like Brad Pitt comes in and she's got to school him on like car designs. Now,
Yeah, well, you've been out of this since the 90s.
yeah,
This is how
you
we're
don't know
doing
shit
it now.
about designing
Yeah.
cars, and I'm like designing the most legendary car ever. No, he comes in there and he's like, no, we should make these changes, and she's like, what? Are you fucking nuts? And he's like,
Yeah,
no,
you
we
gotta-
should
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
And they do it, and of course, like
He was right.
He was right.
Yeah, they
know-
make the male character right.
Right, which was like shocking.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's so weird
How
fucking
dare he
seeing
be
that.
right with all his
Yeah.
experience in racing for decades? And
Yeah.
like they even make a point of saying like she didn't even work in that field. Like she came over from like Lockheed Martin or something like that.
Right. So
Like,
she's got like a engineer
she's got
background.
the engineer
Yeah.
background, but in terms of like the racing world, she's young at it. So I liked that dynamic that they had. Like all the characters had good dynamics together. Like him and the young guy, like everyone jived well together.
Yeah, they did. And you really felt a good sense of him and Javier Bardem's past.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was
they felt
great
like
too.
old
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like everyone's talking about the film and that it's good, but honestly, Brad Pitt is really good in this movie. He turns in a really good performance. You just like the guy. And like I love the scene where he's at the press, he's like at a press junket.
He's taking questions
and
from that
this
reporter.
reporter's like asking dickish questions,
Yeah.
trying to like, you know, probing at his past and stuff. And like he just asked Brad Pitt a question, like, isn't it true that like you did this and that like got you divorced? And he's like,
Yeah.
just like one
Matter
word
of
answers.
fact, like the
That's
whole
it.
press conference.
Didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I love like his whole philosophy where he's like, you know, like the young guy's so caught up in like the fame and like the social media and like all that stuff. And he's like, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
This is all noise.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, fuck that. It's just about the racing.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's so basic, but it's just, it makes his character cool.
Yeah, and of course, you know, like that character, the young guy, has to kind of like push that aside in the end to overcome and focus on like, oh yeah, the
Yeah.
racing. It's like it doesn't like bend the rules in any kind of crazy way. But again, it's just like a good, simple story told well.
Yeah, but I just don't think that people are really like giving Brad Pitt the credit he needs. He deserves for
yeah,
this film.
yeah.
Because he really is good in this. It almost feels like they took Cliff Booth, the character he plays from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and got him into racing.
Exactly.
Like he's like the same.
He's just
like,
this badass, cool dude.
Yes, and I fucking love that character. That
Yeah.
character is so awesome. You
Yeah.
know, you just like want to hang out with him.
Right. He carries himself the same way in
Yes,
this.
he's got that same kind of charisma, and it really works well for this film.
Ranking wise, I went 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah. I really liked it.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. The younger guy, I wish they just did a little bit more to him. To me, he was just kind of
Little flat.
bland. A little flat.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about him. You know, he's a good actor, so it's not his acting necessarily. It's just the characterization. It just wasn't fully there because I felt like Brad Pitt was like so fleshed out.
Well, you get like a really good sense of like where Brad Pitt came from.
Yeah.
and what he went through over the last 30 years. With the young guy, the only time like they give you anything about his past is that like him and Brad Pitt, like they both lost their fathers when they were 13 years old. They make a mention of that in like the poker scene. But outside of that, he's just like, I worked really hard to get here. But like you don't really get a sense of like what any of that work looked like or what his struggle was like to get to where he is. So you kind of just like start off and you're like, yeah, he's just a Formula One driver. It doesn't flesh him out enough. And I get that. Like I still liked his character, but
these are all nitpicks because this movie is fucking good.
Now on our other scale, this is also, you know, it's nitpick territory, but it's there enough.
There is one fucking thing especially.
Yeah.
Okay, and I looked this up afterwards. Yes, there are women on the pit crews of these fucking Formula One teams.
But you'd think they're a little more maybe seasoned or competent because the one chick on the pit crew in this, like, she fucks up so hard during that race.
Like bad.
Like drops the gun and he drives over and he's like, what the fuck was, like, and then he gets out and it's just like, how is she not fired? Now, maybe I don't know what the inner workings of like at Formula One pit crews are like, but
no,
that
if
seems
that were
like,
a dude, he would have been fucking fired.
Yeah.
Like she totally fucks up, just completely blows it, you know? And she's like, I'm sorry. It's not like she's like some like fucking bull dyke, you know, like 5'11", you know, tomboy chick, you know what I mean? She's like a little...
She's like a normal girl.
Yeah, she's got like the Scarlett Johansson build, you know what I mean? And like, she's just like a normal like little blonde girl. And it's like, these are supposed to be the best in the world. That's the whole thing. You can't like fuck around with this DEI bullshit when you want the best. You can't.
Yeah.
And so this movie kind of does that. And it's also kind of how Brad Pitt, he sees that she's like down, like kicking herself in the ass for what she did. And like there's a scene where he's like in the ice bath and she comes in, she doesn't know that he's in there. And he's like, you're thinking about what you did earlier, huh? Something like that.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. And he's like, well, don't let it get to you. You know, you're
No
gonna be,
big deal.
No big deal. You're going to be hard on yourself more than anyone else is hard on you or whatever. And it's like, dude, you're like straightening this whole team out. Like you above everyone should be on her fucking ass not to mess up anymore.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's just like,
But like, I'm wondering, like, if it had happened to him and not the young guy, like, would he have cared a little more? Because dude, in the opening of the movie, when he's doing the 24 hours of Daytona and he gets out of the car and the other driver gets in,
he
he's
has
like,
that massive lead. And he's like,
if you lose my lead, I'll
yeah.
fucking kill you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So okay, he's like very selective of where he'll dole out the.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I know what they were going for. They were going for like him saying that because he's already hard on himself.
Yes.
For his past and all that. But that wasn't the right way to do it because she really did fuck something up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, she needed to learn like.
It's a
lesson there.
It's a human error and a mistake, but unfortunately, a mistake like that would have gotten you fired.
Right.
Or you would have been off.
Maybe that specific job on the pit crew, maybe they bump you down. Where I don't know the inner workings of the F1 pit crews, but still, it seemed like a type of mistake you shouldn't be making at that level.
Yes, nitpick.
Nitpick. All right, so because it's a nitpick for me, I went half of.
Yeah, 0.5 out of 5. Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. Overall, go see it. And then instead of going to see one of these other shitty summer blockbusters, go see it again.
I'm definitely going to see it again, but we have to fucking see Jurassic World Rebirth, and that's going to suck.
Yep, that's going to suck.